Okay, ladies, so we are coming with you for part two of Nicole's success journey. So if you haven't seen the first part of her story, that is also on my page. She did an interview only 6 weeks into the VIP weight loss system and had fantastic results. But we are back with a second interview because this mama has busted through all the myths, all the things about hormones and hypothyroidism and being busy and having kids and being, a working mom. And so I'm going to let her definitely tell her story. So, but just a little backstory, Nicole, tell us about, what it was when we first started, right? Where were you at? What were you frustrated with, that, a lot of other women can relate to as well?
Yeah, absolutely. When we first met, I had just gotten like my lab results. So I've dealt with hypothyroidism for 5+ years now, struggled with my weight for several years, did multiple different workout programs, did tons of different nutrition or diet, fad diet, you name it. I probably tried it to try to get the weight under control. So then when we met, I had just met with my primary care physician and she had done labs and she's like, "You look good. Like your numbers are great." I
Yeah.
didn't feel good. I didn't feel great about myself. I didn't like the way I looked, but also I knew I was dealing with fatigue. I knew I had issues with how I was handling food.
Yeah.
And so I was just really frustrated. I didn't want to look the way that I looked. I didn't want to feel the way that I did. I didn't want to be told, well, your numbers look good. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, totally. So like we started and
Yeah.
within 6 weeks you were down, like, you
Yeah.
remember?
I think it was right around 20 pounds halfway
Yeah.
through. Yeah.
Yeah. So like within 6 weeks, your body's like, okay, like this is
Yeah.
what I needed. Like goodbye. So within 6 weeks, you were 20 pounds down. Okay.
Yeah.
So we keep going. We're doing life. We're doing life. Things are going. You have baseball and you have three busy boys and
Yes.
busting through all of that. You went through summer and vacations and everything. Okay, so we're like less than 6 months that we've been working together, and I would love for you to share your results now.
Yeah. I'm down 40 pounds, which was my goal from the beginning. And I feel good. Like the pounds is amazing. It feels like such a win because I haven't weighed this amount since like college,
Yeah.
definitely pre-kids, it's been so long since I weighed this. But aside from that, I feel good. Like I have energy. I feel like working out.
Yeah.
I feel like getting in and doing things and it's not such a focus on the weight or what needs to come next or what I need to squeeze in. It's just part of life now.
Right. So let's like talk about that because obviously that's kind of the flashy thing, right? So like you lost 40 pounds, which
Yeah.
is meant, I mean, oh my gosh. It's like celebrate that, celebrate that, celebrate that. Like what that does for your body, for your hormones, for your thyroid to function more optimally, for your energy, having less fat in your body overall, like brings down your, risk for mortality and chronic disease in the future. However,
Right.
I mean, what I really want to focus on now is we know you can do it. You've lost the weight. But how about like the lifestyle and the habits? Like, that's something that I think a lot of people hear is they're like, okay, Nicole, like you've lost 40 pounds. Like, how do you know you're not going to just gain it all back? So
Right.
what are some of the things that you've learned through doing this or that you're working on now? And do you see yourself going back? Let's kind of shed some.
Yeah. I absolutely do not see myself going back. I refuse.
Yeah.
I think that keeping focus on the way that I feel today and letting that fuel
Yeah.
how I handle each and every day and how I tackle what's going on. But food is no longer the focus. It's not the emotional attachment that I had to it. I think we talked about this before between you and I. I didn't realize how much I would snack or go to food for things that just it didn't fuel what I was needing it to.
Yeah.
And so kind of dealing with that and recognizing those pieces as the unhealthy habits that I had and really just recognizing food for what it is, and that's nutritional value and
Yeah.
what brings you peace and joy in your body
Yeah.
is it's so eye-opening. And so I think for me, I have zero plans on ever going backwards. And I think the biggest aha moment that I had is how I looked at food before as like a reward. It's like,
Right.
well, I did this, like I should go out with friends and celebrate and have a meal, it was always something around food. And, while I don't want to take that away from anybody, that's just, it
Mhm.
wasn't serving me at all. And so that recognizing that was huge.
That's so big. So how
Yeah.
do you handle socializing or traveling or, what's like, how do you kind of look at that? Because, I think that that's something that a lot of, people or women are like, okay, but how do I do this? Like, how can I? So what is your,
Yeah.
what would you say about that?
I think I made it a bigger deal in my head
Yeah.
beforehand than it actually was in reality. Everybody has a reaction to like, oh, you're not eating this now or you're not doing this now. And so that certainly happens, but setting myself up to like, what is the goal? And traveling or going out to eat, it's like, I know what's going to make me feel good and what's not now. And so it's just never worth it to me to kind of set myself back. And so having those plans in advance of like, okay, somebody might say something and make a joke of me eating or not eating whatever they're having and doing that. That's okay. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to feel much better tomorrow. So
Oh,
yeah,
that is so beautiful, and it's so good because like we kind of talk about in this program, it's not that you can't have it, so
right.
let's say you go to a gathering for a football, get together, or you go on vacation or you go out with friends, it's like, "Oh, you can't have that." It's like, "Oh, I can. I
Yeah,
don't want to." Right? It's a
exactly.
matter of if I want to or if I don't want to. And you get to choose how you
Yeah,
feel, right? And so it's the cool thing is that you've connected kind of that mind body and you're like, I could have that, but I know how I'm going to feel. And I
yes,
know how that impacts me physically and mentally. And so that
yeah.
is really kind of the thing that you've busted through. You've overcome the physical and mental part of this. You've made this a lifestyle for you and your family. How has this impacted your family?
I think that I'm conscientious of like how they're eating as well. My husband he does his own thing anyway. He always has.
Yeah.
But I think, it has made us look at like planning things and
Yeah.
making things more healthy. And yes, I have boys instead of girls, so I feel lucky that way as far as body things go. But still, it's always approaching something in. We're eating this because it's healthy. We're eating this because it's making us stronger, and not having the diet culture within our family. I just felt very strongly against ever introducing that to our family. So
I love that. That's
yeah,
beautiful. And do
yeah,
you feel like this has been an easy, I guess, quote unquote, plan to also do with your family?
absolutely. I don't even think they noticed a change or a shift. I think it just moved along with us. So
It's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Because that's a big fear that people have too. They're like, can I do this and not one, not have it feel like I'm on a diet and like mom's over here eating her diet food. But
right,
two, can I do this with my whole family? Because I don't want to make two meals, right? And so
right.
it's been easy for you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I don't think anybody noticed anything different.
Good. So what
Yeah.
would your okay, so there's a lot of women out there right now feeling frustrated that have hypothyroidism, that have imbalances with hormones, that are going through perimenopause, that are struggling, they're busy, that have kids like yours in all the sports. Like what
Right.
would your if you were sitting down talking to that woman, like what would your advice be to her?
I think always having a plan in place of how you're going to tackle the day, and that it sounds very daunting, but once you have it in place, it just becomes routine, just like everything else. I think that's key. And then also, the biggest focus for me is, and I did this a lot before, but even just thinking about throughout the day, just getting in extra movement, even if it's 10 minutes of getting outside and walking, and just working in little things throughout the day rather than like, okay, I got my workout in this morning and I'm done. And it's more about the longer term goal, and doing it throughout the day and having a plan all day, and versus like, I did my 30 minutes, now I'm going to be done for the day and not think about it again.
Right. So planning has been key for you.
Yes. Yep.
And so, really, in the beginning, we laid out a plan for you. We talked through those habits. We laid out those habits. And so it became kind of just second nature for you. At
Mhm.
what point in your journey do you feel like it just started to click and it didn't seem hard?
Um, Probably the last time we met, like about 6 weeks in. I think it does take some time to build in a routine and not make
Yeah.
it feel like okay, is it a
Yeah.
prep day? And what do I need to buy at the grocery store and things like
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
Um, and I eat a lot of the same things over and over, but it doesn't matter to me. Like it just becomes routine and it's just part of the day. So it gets a lot easier once you build a routine.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, about 6 weeks, right? So you
Yeah.
have the routine, you're wrapping your mind around it. How do I do this with my work day? How do I do this with my kids? What are my
Yeah.
challenges? Right. And so we would meet every week and we'd talk through those challenges and we'd
Yeah.
work through those challenges and come up with a plan and come up with a plan. And so it was around 6 weeks that it just started to click. And so now it's like 6 weeks, felt like nothing in
Yeah.
to where we are now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Just sticking with it, doing the plan. Awesome. Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing your story. It is a beautiful story. You are just glowing. You are glowing. You are impacting your family. You're impacting those around you. And now you get to be in this space where you're going to be impacting whoever is seeing this and that they have hope for their journey as well. So thanks for sharing your story.
Of course.